Well, I grew up in East Tennessee, moved to Jacksonville with my job in 2000, and was formerly a sales manager with one of the major media companies here in town. Have been in Jacksonville for about 8 years now. So, and live at the beach, enjoy the beach, grew up in the mountains, but love living at the beach, so we take advantage of that. A year and a half ago, my family suffered a very tragic circumstance. We were dealing with wrongful death. An elderly woman caused the death of one of our family members. She was taking a cocktail of prescription medication, should not have been driving. When you've had tragedy touch your life, you've never had to deal with legal issues. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to turn. I called several major firms in town. Several came to my home and told me I could receive an insurance settlement that I knew I was going to receive from her insurance company. They didn't tell me anything I didn't already know. And I called the offices of Farah Farah. I actually spoke with Eddie Farah's sister. She answered the phone. And I was so grateful to hear her voice because she was so calming to me at a time when my life was in so much turmoil. And she actually contacted Eddie immediately, told him my situation. He called me within minutes, told me he would be sending me some paperwork by courier, which he did that afternoon. His response was comforting at that time. Because when you're in a very difficult situation like that, you want response, you want answers, you want help, you need direction. Eddie told me how I could pursue justice for the wrongful death of our family member. And again, Eddie gave me confidence, he exuded confidence and capability, and he showed concern, he cared. And I was getting the runaround from other firms. And I wanted honesty, I wanted sincerity, and that's what I got, and that's why we chose to pursue our situation with the offices of Farah Farah. When we originally met with Eddie, my husband and I, my daughter-in-law, and at the time my 4-month-old granddaughter. And we took her with us because we had nowhere to leave her. We strolled her into the conference room. And we weren't his largest case. We weren't going to be a case that was going to make him wealthy by any means. And he came back and he handled the case himself because I requested that. I wanted to work with the best, and to me, he was the best. Eddie gave me his home number and his cell phone number. To this day, if I call his cell phone, he calls me back. I don't think I would have gotten that type of attention from another firm. He took a personal interest in my case. He knew the devastation and the tragedy. He felt it. He would look at my grandchild and see it. And he did exactly what he told me he would do. If I didn't call Eddie directly and called his office, whomever the receptionist was, I think he rotates several, I always got a prompt response. If I had to speak with another attorney in his office for some reason, if he was out of town, if he was in court or at a meeting, I got immediate attention. They were always very prompt, very sincere in how they handled us. One thing that was very impressive to me, Eddie has a detective. He has a private detective. And I actually got to know him from my professional career. But if they didn't know something, they certainly took the time and sent their staff out to find out about it. And I learned things during the process that I did not know. Things that had happened in our situation and my family members' situation that I probably would have never known had they not uncovered that for me. And I learned a lot along the way, things that I would have never thought of or known. There's a lot of mumbo-jumbo involved. There's a lot of legalities that the common person would never know or understand unless they're involved in a situation such as this. The tragedy in my family's life involved a traffic accident, and it involved a car and a motorcycle. And Eddie took every measure to determine that the motorcycle met all the safety requirements, that the manufacturer of the car met all the safety requirements, that the insurance company representing the person who caused the wrongful death met all the requirements. He pushed, and he pushed hard. The end result was I could not file a wrongful death suit. I could have, but he advised me against it, which if I had, he could have certainly profited from it. But he advised me not to because I couldn't win, given the circumstances that I was dealing with. And it would have just been a phenomenal amount of money and caused my family a longer period of grief and turmoil. Not many people would do that. This case went on for 9 months. He spent a lot of time, a lot of effort. The insurance settlement that came through was nothing that anyone else couldn't have done. It's the way in which he handled it. It was the way in which he handled us. It was his level of concern and his sincerity and doing everything in his power falling within the laws of the state of Florida to correct a wrong. There's no amount of money that can ever replace someone whom you love. Life is so precious, and we learned that very quickly. You know it, but until you've been through a tragedy in your life, you really don't realize just how precious it is. Usually when people need an attorney, it's at a very bad time in their life, be it a tragedy, be it a criminal situation. As far as Eddie's firm is concerned, again, it's being redundant, but it's just doing what he said he would do. It's his response time. It's his level of interest in his clients. And he's a very large firm. He has a lot of clients. But I think he personally gets involved with every case that comes through that firm's door. People need to know the type of attorney that he is, how he conducts business, and the sincerity and the level of professionalism that he exudes. You know, once he got involved with our case, he wanted to see it through, and he wanted to take it to every level that he could to create justice for our family.